The nice thing about that is actually, I think from a teaching point of view, I don't think you'll ever get rid of teachers, but you'll actually be getting in contact with each other. Why not run a class, for instance, and say, today we're looking at poetry by some poet. Hey, that poet, they're online, why don't we just grab them to come into our class, into our virtual classroom? And that's probably the way it's going to go in the future. You'll be grabbing specialised people and bringing them into your classrooms online. And so his idea with Moodle 3 is that we'll probably build Moodle around doing those sorts of things, working more the kind of Web 2 type stuff, Web 3, whatever the words are that people are using these days. So that's the future of Moodle. The Moodle roadmap's all online. If you do want to see, we keep nothing hidden. So docs.moodle.org is the main documentation for Moodle. The roadmap is on there, so you can actually see the Moodle 2 development, and each of those has its own page. It's a wiki site, so people just write pages about developments. All the developers are on there writing specifications and so on. So it's completely open, so you can see the repositories API, you can look at the development side of it, you can look at the user side of it if you wanted to. Moodle 2.1 is already paged up about that and what's coming up, and links off to different areas as well. And as I said, the tracker is there, so anytime there's a new feature or there's bugs or patches on the code, developers have to make a new tracker issue, and developers then argue about it as they do, and then the users get in there and say the developers don't know what they're talking about, and so the argument goes on. And so you can read all that. It's all out in the open, you don't hide anything from anyone, and we actually think it's a good thing. It's not that we want to hide it all so no one else can use it. We've even seen Blackboard actually take some of the different features that have been in there, and they've run with some things. That's fine. I mean, it's helping people, so why not? Which is good. So that kind of ends it for me. I'll finish off there, and I'll open this up, see if there's any questions about that. I know, and from my point of view, I know that's a very brief overview, Moodle kind of 10-year history in 1 hour, if that. So there's a lot of things I've kind of skipped over and made very general comments about. But certainly I'll open up to questions if there is any. Yeah. Well, if there's none, that's good. I don't know. Oh, yeah.
So this is Lesson Chen from Hong Kong PhD. And actually I would like to know if there is any pre-release version or nightly view version or developer version kind of stuff that we can preview the 2.0 version?
Yep, sure is. So download.moodle or moodle.org, there's a download link, so you can always go and get the development version, and there's so you can actually grab that anytime. There's also a site set up if you want to practice with it, qa.moodle.net. So basically, yeah, it's for the quality assurance basically. So that's got the latest code on it. It resets. You can log in as an administrator, teacher, or a student on that site and play around. It resets every hour on the hour. But it's the latest Moodle development code. So you can qa.moodle.net. Sorry, my Lappy's not linked up, so I won't show you. I think I got that right. Is that coming up with the site? Cool. Yeah. So does that answer that question? Yeah. Yeah. So you can go play with it. Alrighty. Oh, yay. I like questions. I want to move around, but I can't.
I know Design to Learn recently posted some news about their Blackboard sort of attempt to patent certain parts of all LMS systems. I wonder if Moodle had similar sort of legal issues or were part of the fight, or if you would comment.
Yeah. Yes is the short answer. So for those who, keeping up with that, Blackboard as a company took out a patent to the US. Just to give some background to this. There's a whole lot of points in it. You can actually go view the patent at the US Patent Office and see what the points are. The main sticking point in that was they actually said we've come up with the idea that you can allow multiple roles in the system was the big sticking point. Now in Moodle you can do it. You can be a student in one course and a teacher in another course. You're not stuck to one role throughout Moodle. You can have multiple roles, be an administrator at the same time and so on. It works with that. And you can create your own roles as well. So they took out the patent in the US. The US Patent Office basically said, yeah, okay, they granted it. Basically because they lacked experts in it. And then what happened was Blackboard actually took Desire to Learn to court. They won the court case. However, at the same time, the open source Software Foundation, Free Software Foundation. They got together, so they kind of promote open source software. They went and challenged the patent. So there's a group of people. Martin was actually involved in it, so he got Moodle involved in that part of it, as were a lot of other LMS type companies. And they got the patent challenged, and the patent office says, oh, okay, and they actually overturned and went through it and overlooked it. So therefore the court case gets Desire to Learn, then got some injunction or something put on it. I can't remember what all that was. Where it's standing at the moment, to my understanding, is Blackboard will now challenge the overturning of the patent. So, yeah. As far as Moodle was concerned, Michael Chasen is the CEO of Blackboard. He actually put out a statement saying he wouldn't go after any open source software, and he specifically said such as Moodle. So he actually made a statement. So Moodle was kind of safe at that point. Martin still decided it wasn't a good thing. That's why he went with the other group and challenged it. Yeah. So I hope that, and that's as much as I know. Martin obviously knows more because he's been involved in it. Yeah. By the way, Martin he's actually good friends with, not good friends, I shouldn't say that. They're on speaking terms. Michael Chasen's actually come to Perth and met with Martin, and they've talked on the phone a few times. As I said, he's actually made an offer on Moodle as well, which Martin turned down, so it's good to know. Martin's wife did slap him when she heard the amount, but yeah. So yeah, so is that, yeah, it's about as much as I know. Oh, yeah.
Do you considering update the interface and make it more user friendly for non-programmers and such kind of things?
In Moodle too?
Yes.
Yeah, usability is a funny thing because you're always working on it. So yeah, certainly Martin's done a lot of work on the user interface for different areas as well. Yeah, I don't know if there's much more to say about it really. Yeah, he's basically taking what the community suggested, and where he can, he's just updated. A lot of the things in Moodle too, as well as doing the core code, is actually making it consistent as well. So quite often, because some of these plugins were done by, might just be different Moodle partner companies, or they're done by different developers, sometimes the interface, like the way the forms worked, everything were different, all the settings, and like having a checkbox or a yes and no select box is one of those big things in Moodle. So they've actually gone through and tried to make every form consistent about how it asks questions and so on. As well as the underlying codes, there's actually, from a developer's point of view, there's actually one form class that you use now for the Moodle form, so they should look the same anyway. So there's things like that. So he's gone through and just, I think consistency is probably the big thing in Moodle too, what he's done there. There's probably a lot more JavaScript and Ajax that helps you out with things as well. Martin always made the call too with Ajax, JavaScript that it should work without it turned on, so that will still be an option as well, but JavaScript obviously helps running on the browser. Actually, one of the frustrations with Moodle is that you actually comply, we're actually very standards compliant, so XHTML 1.0 strict compliant, CSS2 compliant, and so on. So Martin does all these checks, and accessibility compliance, so if you've got people who are blind using the internet, Moodle can actually work with the screen readers. One of the big frustrations is, can be compliant to all those standards, and certain companies will put out browsers that just break all those rules, and so Moodle actually contains then fixes for the browsers that don't adhere to the standards, which is a really big frustration, because something mightn't work, and look, we've adhered to the standards, fix your browser, but yeah, what do you do? Especially when it's probably the most popular browser. Sorry, yeah.
A two-part question.
Yeah.
Can you just in a nutshell explain Moodle networking?
Yep.
And where that's going to go?
Moodle networking. So Moodle networking is basically it's written specifically for Moodle. Originally, it's written by Penny Leach from Catalyst IT in New Zealand. Now works for Leap in Switzerland or something. So Moodle network is just a public-private key encryption system. That's how it works. So the two systems need to set up their keys, their public keys, and they share them across to each other. I don't know how much detail you want on all that, the underlying code, but that's basically it's a public-private key encryption system. And the idea for general end users is you can network two Moodle sites together. So you log into one Moodle site, and if the administrators have set up this Moodle network in between them, you can just click on a link, usually the network servers block, it's the easiest way to do it, and you just go to the other site and it's logged you in, and it's used your credentials from the original Moodle site. And you can set up as many Moodle sites with that structure as you want to.